Hello everyone, my name is David, and this is the 1-year user review of the 10th generation Honda Civic Hatchback. Honda has finally returned to the hatch party that it once pioneered with the 10th generation Civic Hatchback, as it arrives on North American shores for the first time in non-SI configuration since the year 2000. Honda hasn't really left this market space for 17 years. Europe and Asia were getting their funky looking 8th and 9th generation hatches, while the North American models were built on completely separate platforms. Now with the 10th generation, Honda has decided to go with a single global architecture with the Civic. All models within the hatchback range has a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that outputs at a healthy 174 horsepower and 167 pound-feet of torque. That brings the Civic up to 100 km per hour under 7 seconds. Sadly, this particular engine is not equipped with VTEC, and that means you won't be able to yell out for any kicking motion. Mated to the 1.5 liter Turbo 4 is either a 6-speed manual or CVT. All CVT models have the option of equipping Honda's active safety package, Honda Sensing, which is a great system for extended highway cruising, and a shame that is not offered with the manual. Styling is subjective, but I think the hatch looks quite handsome. I'll bet the fake plastic intake and air terminals. I have gotten a few compliments mentioning how much sportier the hatch looks over the traditional sedan. The interior is modern and minimal, with large LCDs replacing traditional gauges. There's a tablet infotainment that works okay with some lag and also functions as part of the climate control. The screen can be unresponsive from touch inputs, but it does work with a glove. All touchpoint materials feel good, but are definitely creaky trim pieces if you pay closer attention. There is an especially annoying rattle inside the driver's side A-pillar during cold engine accelerations, but it does pass the visor test, which mitigates most of the minor complaints I have. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay come standard in every model, and it is amazing compared to most standard OEM navigation systems. Pairing for both systems was fairly simple. There is a lot of space in this car. I can easily stack 2 bikes in the back with the rear seats folded down. It also helps that the hatch opening is very wide and comes with a clever privacy cover that retracts painlessly for storage and doesn't get in the way. Rear seating is adequate with enough legroom for full-grown adults, and seating 3 abreast is reasonable for short hauls. This car is also equipped with Honda's Honda Sensing package. This means that you get auto high beam, brake assist, collision mitigation braking, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, and road departure mitigation. So what does all of this mean? With the system active, it'll give you a warning and a nudge on the wheel if the camera senses that you're drifting from your lane. It'll also warn you to brake when you're approaching a vehicle too quickly, and brake if it deems necessary. In my experience, the system works well and is not too invasive where I would want to turn it off. The cool part is that you activate lane keep assist and radar cruise control on the highway. The car will steer to keep itself in the lane and follow the car in front at a set distance and speed. This makes long highway travel almost too easy. Another neat feature of the cruise control is the low speed follow. The system will detect the car in front and will follow it in bumper-to-bumper traffic from dead stop to 40 km an hour. The whole system has been great in my experience, with a few error messages only popping up a few times during my ownership. Acceleration is adequate for the little 1.5 liter Turbo 4, coming up to 100 km per hour from stop under 7 seconds. At roughly 1,300 kilograms, it is one of the lightest vehicles in the segment, allowing the Civic to achieve pretty good fuel economy, rated at 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers on a combined city and highway cycle. I was personally able to hit 6.5 liters per 100 kilometer in the summer when driven with a little bit more care on the throttle, and even surpassing the 5 liter mark at certain long stretches of country highway. Things do get a lot worse during the winter though, with me logging in 7.5 liter most of the time and 8 liters at certain points. The CVT mated to this engine performs adequately, as a CVT should. The rubber band drones under hard acceleration seems to be a little bit less noticeable when the transmission is placed in sport mode. However, there is still that rubber band feeling when you accelerate hard. Something to note for cold weather driving is that it takes roughly 20 to 30 minutes for the engine to heat up under city driving conditions. This usually meant that I would be really cold for the entire commute in the mornings. The new Civic platform seats lower than the previous generation, giving the driver a good sense of connection to the road. Visibility is good all around, even though the spoiler is hampering a little bit of the rear visibility. The Civic rides well over city potholes and feels compliant for the majority of the time, as well as being stable at highway speeds. The steering is nimble and tight with the whole car feeling very light on its feet. There isn't any feedback through the steering column, however, but I don't think this will bother most drivers, or will be noticed at all. The brake pedal responds with a positive feedback and firm footing as there is no complaints there. The 10th generation Civic Hatchback is a well-rounded performer, priced fairly in a competitive market space. The Civic's powertrain is one of the more interesting selections when compared to the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder in the Mazda 3 GT and the 1.8 turbo in the Volkswagen Golf. It provides good acceleration and tops the Mazda and Volkswagen fuel economy. Interior quality and driver ergonomics are good, with the few exceptions that I had mentioned. But overall, the Civic Hatchback should satisfy most buyers looking at this category with its large cargo capacity and somewhat sporting driving characteristics. I hope you guys found this review helpful, and please like the video below, subscribe to the channel for more videos to come, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Now Karen's on the hunt for ice cream. Ice cream, ice cream.